The night before I was supposed to leave, I told my parents I would sleep at their house, so I was ready to go in the morning with my bag. And I think it was like 3 in the morning, and I got up and I said, oh my God, no, I'm going to treatment again. I need one last hurrah I need to use. So I was leaving and I got stopped at the door. I didn't care. I really didn't care. That was the first time that I saw my dad cry. He was standing by the door, blocking it from me leaving. And I just looked at him and I said, I don't care if I have to break a window to get out of this house, but I'm leaving and I'm going to get high. And I just saw like a tear stream down his face, and he opened the door for me because he knew that there was nothing he could have done to stop me. I was gonna leave, I was gonna use, and it didn't matter what he said or did. I did come back in the morning and I went to treatment, and I met a guy while I was there, and we fell in love. I think it was more infatuation, but anyway, we got kicked out of that treatment center. We left with 56 cents in our pockets, and I think like 2 changes of clothes. And I didn't tell my family that I left treatment. I mean, he was in treatment for alcohol. I introduced him to smoking crack. I introduced him to using intravenously opiates. I showed him the city. He was from Gaspé. I showed him everything. My family only found out a few weeks later that I wasn't there. I think they called the treatment center and they told them she hasn't been here for a while. And so I didn't have a cell phone, obviously. I didn't have anything. So they didn't know how to find me. They didn't know where I was. I ended up calling them a couple weeks later, asking for money, thinking that was normal. Obviously, they were like, where are you? At that point, they gave up. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have money to send me to treatment. They knew that I wasn't willing to go at the time. So they sort of just waited. And I know that was really hard for them because they didn't know what was going to happen to me. They were just sort of waiting for something terrible to happen, and either me dying or asking for help. So it took quite a few months for that to happen. I was with this guy. It was really violent relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally. I was just purple and blue with abscesses all over me from using needles, and I was paranoid from smoking so much crack. I had auditory hallucinations. I was just a disaster, and I was terrified of my boyfriend. I felt like a victim. I felt trapped because I needed him to survive, because it was so hard to survive alone with no money or anything. And I remember calling my parents one day. I think he was trying to hurt me, but I remember saying to my mom, like, I'm done, I need help, I'm willing. And that was when like I knew that I didn't want to live like that anymore, and I was like willing to do whatever it took. So we found Aurora. I was actually the longest person to ever be at Aurora. I was there 6 months, and that was vital to be where I am today. I had enough time to detox and then to work on myself. I also have the longest stay in detox. I was in detox for 60 days. I came off my methadone cold turkey with no Suboxone. I weaned myself off 29 medications. I couldn't talk when I got there. My vocal cords were burnt from smoking so much crack. I had 4 months around of treatment after I was better. I started working on my steps. I had a lot of counseling and therapy to deal with my traumas and my past, and to really find out who I was, because I had no idea. The spiritual aspect of Aurora really was amazing. The sweat lodges. Just being next to Lake Winnipeg was beautiful, waking up to that lake every morning. The people I met, my circle of recovery is amazing. And right now I'm so careful about who I surround myself with and where I go and the things I do, because I am so scared to lose it all, and I'm not willing to sacrifice my recovery for anything, because if I don't have my recovery, I have nothing. I'm just so grateful to Aurora and everyone who helped me there, because I was lost, really lost. I had no idea who I was or what I was supposed to do. I was just existing. That's it. And to be almost 8 months sober today is just insane. Like, after all the times I've tried and failed, like I thought I was doomed to live the life of an addict who would never get better. And now I know that that doesn't have to be true.